On August 7th, 2020, officers Jordan Horn and Dalton Martin of the McDowell County Sheriff's Office of West Virginia visited the 66-year-old named Donnie Harrison and his wife Ventress, who is 63, as they were sitting on the front porch of the house, which was rented from the ex-military officer named Jason. The deputy came in and asked questions related to 4 marijuana plants that were planted nearby. So let's watch the video further and see what happens.
Just because in the season that we're living in, I think it's important that I have your names.
What do you mean, man?
A lot of crazy stuff going on.
When the law enforcement officials came to the Harrisons' home, the elderly woman greeted them by saying season before inquiring about the officers' identities. When the officer inquired as to what she meant by that, she responded that there are numerous occurrences taking place and that she's inquiring about the name of their security.
Police officers in this area to come up and say, "Are you growing marijuana?" That is preposterous to me.
Is just a question, man.
Yeah, well, I get that.
She gives off the impression of being irritated as she asserts that the officers from the surrounding area came and questioned them if they were growing marijuana there, which the speaker finds to be a ridiculous request.
And so then my only question, use your names, just so it's okay in my own heart and mind. And when I say the season we're living in, you know the season we're living in.
Y'all concerned about something over here at this house?
In order to defend himself, the officer claims that it is only a question, to which the lady responds in an unprompted manner that she understands, and she's merely requesting the officer's name for her own mental and emotional well-being.
This house?
No, that house.
Yes.
What's the problem?
Who lives there?
Mr. Ferguson? He's probably there now. He's 79.
Okay.
Jason, the owner of the residence, interjects himself into the conversation and inquires of the police about whether or not they check the other house, where the police will inquire about the person who resides there by asking for their name.
All right. What's your name, sir?
Jason Tart.
Jason Tart.
Tart.
And what do you mean by the season we're living in, ma'am?
Sir.
What do you need? You got any questions for me?
No, I'll collect some information from you in a minute, your name and date of birth and such.
The lady responds to the person who's living in that house.
What do you need my information for?
You own these 2 homes, correct?
What
Okay,
these 2 homes got to do with that?
These 2 homes is near that marijuana grow, so I'd just like to have your name.
You know how many people go through here?
I understand.
That's
Well,
not going to...
The officer then asks the name of the individual standing beside the lady, where Jason introduces himself and asks the lady what does she mean by the term season, in which the owner of the house jumps in and says what the officer requires.
do you one bit of good.
Okay. Well, sir, I'm going to need your name and date of birth, and I have that.
feel comfortable giving you my name
Where the officer replies by stating he is just collecting information.
and date of birth.
Okay, well, this is a criminal investigation. You own these 2 homes, so by law, you do have to give me your name and date of birth, sir.
If he gives you a reason, yes, you do.
Reason for what?
Because of the marijuana grow.
It's not on my property.
Okay, well, again, I have reason to believe that.
Jason asks why is he collecting information, to which the officer replies that he owns the property and his property is nearby where the marijuana was grown. Jason responds that it's not on his property. The officer states that he believes it can be a possibility that the nearby houses are also connected with the marijuana planting, so Jason has had to give his name and date of birth due to law regulations.
Scared
Who
you
says that? Who
by asking you a question,
who comes up and asks? That's crazy.
and it scared you?
I'm trying to understand what
It scared you by me asking you a question.
Growing marijuana?
And that's a question. To say somebody scared you because they asked you a question is ridiculous.
That's preposterous.
Go ahead and give me your name, sir.
Wait.
First name.
It's ridiculous to you, sir.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
it's not ridiculous.
Your
over
first
here.
name.
I'm not giving you my information.
Sir, if you refuse to give me your information, I'm going to arrest you.
That's fine. My property has nothing to do with any marijuana whatsoever. You're going to arrest me if I don't give you my name and date of birth.
It's obstructing an officer.
Jason Tart initially refused to give his name and date of birth when the deputies requested it. He argued that the alleged marijuana plants were not on his property and therefore he did not need to provide his information. However, the deputies insisted that he was required by law to provide his name and date of birth due to the proximity of his properties to the alleged marijuana plants.
No, I'm hindering you from
This
doing your
is
job.
really going out off the
Yeah,
deep
this is
end.
how you guys.
This is bad.
This is
112 control.
this is how you operate.
This is a wrap.
I'm hindering you from doing your
That's
job.
why I needed their.
Y'all need to go inside. Again, you two go inside. Go inside.
I'm afraid.
Go
now,
inside.
I'll tell you the truth.
Go inside.
On my own porch?
No, go inside as of right now.
Tell me why.
Go inside.
What are you doing,
Step off
man?
the porch. Step off the porch.
I'll step off.
Go inside.
What are you doing? This is unnecessary for
Sir,
you to be
go
doing
inside.
This. He's standing on his own porch.
Go inside.
During the interaction, when Mr. Harrison began filming the encounter between the deputies and Mr. Tart, Deputy Martin forcefully pushed the Harrisons into their home. He specifically pushed Mr. Harrison into the doorway and closed the door behind him, effectively preventing him from continuing to record the incident.
Come on.
Look,
Walk.
man, don't
Walk.
listen.
Sir,
You don't
stop.
have to listen,
You're
man.
being
Listen.
recorded.
Listen. This
Just
is
walk.
listen.
Walk.
Listen.
back.
I
Sir,
can
walk
walk.
towards
I
the
can
car.
walk
Okay,
without
well,
you
walk.
putting your damn hands on me.
Walk
You
to the
understand?
vehicle.
I have not broken the law.
The officers forcefully started putting handcuffs on Jason. He tried to stop the cop and told them he can walk wherever they want him to, but don't put the handcuffs on, stating that he didn't break any law to be handcuffed.
Walk to the
At
vehicle.
all.
Well, walk to the vehicle,
Don't
sir.
put
You're
your
being
damn
recorded.
hands on me. I give
Sir.
you no reason to touch me.
I'm going to arrest you then. Place your hands behind your back.
Uncalled for.
Place your hands behind your back.
Put your hand behind
Place your hands behind your back.
Listen.
Look, just relax, okay?
Listen. You.
Just
you-
relax.
Place your hands
okay?
behind your back. Please place your hands behind your back.
My hand is behind my.
Place your
It
hands
only
behind-
takes one of you.
Place your hands.
Look, let him do it.
The officers then directed Jason to walk towards their vehicle. Still, the argument was going on, and Jason stated that it was all uncalled for. The police officer put the handcuffs on Jason at that point, and told the other officer to leave his hand and let the other officer put on the cuffs.
He owns two properties right here on this Fabulous Drive road. We located a marijuana grow, probably not 100 foot, 50 foot from this last property of his, and he just won't give us his name, date of birth.
The officers took Jason towards their vehicle, made him sit inside, and updated their heads about the situation, stating that Jason's not providing his ID and credentials when asked for, and lives approximately 50 to 100 feet away from the scene where the marijuana was found.
Black now.
The person on the other end asked about Jason's appearance, and when heard that he was a black man, the officer put marijuana inside the car's back as a piece of evidence, due to which Mr. Jason was charged with obstruction of the law officer, but the case was allegedly dismissed as the prosecutor on October 2020, as Officer Martin failed to appear in front of the court. The statement highlights that despite the potential challenges posed by qualified immunity, it acknowledges that the deputies did not behave in a professional, calm, and polite manner throughout the encounter. It recognizes the efforts made by Mr. Jason and the Harrisons to exercise their constitutional rights and take appropriate legal action following the incident. The statement commends their courage in initiating a lawsuit after their rights were infringed upon. It expresses curiosity about the outcome of the legal issues involved and how they will be resolved in the future. On November 14, 2022, an incident occurred at an SKLD Wyoming nursing home involving a staff member named Sue and a visitor named Michelle. Sue, the administrator of the facility, called the police on Michelle, accusing her of trespassing and taking pictures of her mother without permission. Despite Michelle's claims that she had not committed any crime and that the nursing home was a public facility, the police quickly convicted her of trespassing and detained her.
She's not on the trespass list, so officially trespasser.
There you go.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Sue. I'm the administrator. So we have a family member who had an allegation against her, and so we've reached out to her and let her know that if she wants to visit, we need to meet with the team here and figure out a way we can keep the mom from being. Her guardian does not even want her to visit, but we talked her into letting her. If we do supervised or promise that she won't take pictures of her mom and put them all over Facebook and TikTok and stuff because the guardian doesn't want that happening. She came in, refused to talk to me, slammed the door in my face, wouldn't let me in the room. So,
Do you want to trespass?
yeah, at this point,
best
yes,
way to get her out of
until she will come in and meet with us and figure out what
you
we
can always
do.
take the no trespass order
Because-
away, but
yeah.
let's get her trespass because that's the
Because
way
I don't
we're gonna
want
get
to.
her
I don't
out
want
of
to
here.
not let her see her mother, but she needs to do it so we can keep the mom safe.
During the encounter, Michelle argued that the nursing home, being publicly funded, should not be able to trespass on her without reasonable cause. She even mentioned contacting the facility's vice president, who allegedly stated that she had not committed any crime. Michelle believed that her actions were protected by her First Amendment rights, allowing her to visit the facility and take pictures freely. However, the police insisted that trespassing occurred because the nursing home, as private property, had the authority to restrict entry as they deemed necessary. They maintained that Michelle's refusal to cooperate and meet with the facility's team justified her trespass conviction.
Pretty much like anywhere, just like if you walk into a speedway, they can say, hey, I don't want this person here anymore. Doesn't matter what the reason for. If they tell me that, and they want you, they say, hey, I want them trespassed.
So when I come back tomorrow, I go to jail?
Yeah, you can't come back until you
I
figure it
will
out.
be coming back.
Okay.
And I already let the vice president and president, I spoke to them today. They said, we haven't heard anything. Well, then why are they doing this? You might want to call her.
Call them and tell them to talk to Sue then.
Correct.
That's the best you can do right now.
Yep, this is just I'm sorry, this is a fucking joke.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong, but so don't come back on the property until you clear it up with the vice
I'm coming
president.
back tomorrow. I'll be here every day, and I don't care if I go to jail. I've already been told by lawyers, by the advocates that help Britney Spears. National News, the News 8, everybody's on this. So they've already told me, if you have to push the envelope, because that's just going to seal the lawsuit. Huh?
You're not going to be able to do that.
No, but it'll seal the deal when I'm getting arrested for no crime.
Okay.
Trespassing not be the crime.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They can't say I'm trespassing when I've committed no crime.
That is the crime. That's what we're trying to type.
Michelle expressed her frustration and stated her intention was to return to the facility, disregarding the trespass warning. She believed that her case had gained significant attention, citing advice from lawyers and advocates who had helped Britney Spears. She asserted that pushing the envelope and standing up for her rights would strengthen her potential lawsuit against the nursing home. Furthermore, Michelle claimed that one of the police officers violated her Fourth Amendment rights during her detainment. She alleged that he forcefully tried to seize her phone while she was attempting to inform her children of the situation. Despite not having committed any crime that warranted handcuffing, she was restrained by the officer.
I'm not giving it to you.
Okay, well then you're going to be detained until we figure that out then.
Huh?
Then you're detained until we figure that out.
Why are you detaining me?
Because right now you have to be trespassed.
Okay, well, can I make one phone call?
Nope, you have to give me your driver's license.
I don't
just tell me your name.
To give you already know my name.
Okay, can you write down her name?
Oh my God!
Exactly how it's spelled.
So
until we can find you and we can figure out who you are.
Hold on,
exactly.
I'm gonna call and let them know. Go pick up my kids, and I'm being arrested.
You're not being arrested right now.
Oh,
You're being detained.
So detained and arrested are two different things. Being
Hold
arrested
on.
means that you've been charged for something. Being detained is temporary.
Hold on, I'm being detained
Okay. Do you want to?
because I won't give them my license.
All right. So
I've done nothing wrong.
What's your date of birth?
I've committed no crime.
What's your date of birth?
I committed no crime.
Okay, now you're being detained then. And then we'll get a fingerprint scanner and then we'll figure it out. Let go of the phone.
Randy, you want to work with the Lily.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right now, you need to
We're not
present
playing games with you.
Only
It
if
ain't
I've committed a crime
not
of
true.
reasonable articulable suspicion, and I've done nothing of the
So
sort.
right now you've been trespassed, okay?
Uh-huh.
So we need to identify you so we can
Uh-huh.
successfully trespass you by doing our lawful job. Okay.
Michelle's perspective on the incident raises concerns about the staff's handling of her visitation rights and the violation of her constitutional rights by the police officers. She intends to take legal action, asserting that her rights were infringed upon throughout the incident. In yet another troubling incident that occurred on October 31st, 2022, a visually impaired man named Jim Hodges was illegally arrested and detained by 2 Columbia County cops in Florida. The officers, Deputy Jamie Godey and Sergeant Randy Harrison, claimed that the walking stick Hodges had in his back pocket was a firearm, leading to his arrest without lawful authority. The encounter was captured on video by Hodges himself. When the officers approached him and questioned the object in his back pocket, Hodges explained that it was a walking stick. However, the officers insisted on obtaining his identification and detained him, citing their suspicion he was carrying a weapon.
Hey. What's this in your back pocket? I just saw you walking it.
It's a navigational aid. What's the problem? You a tyrant?
Yeah, I am actually. What's your name and date of birth?
I don't have to give that unless
Yes, sir. I was investigating.
You have reasonable.
Do you want me to put you in handcuffs right now? Yes, sir, I do.
Hodges questioned the officer's authority and refused to provide his identification, stating he had not committed a crime. He asserted that his Fourth Amendment rights protected him from unreasonable searches and seizures without probable cause or a warrant. Despite Hodges' explanations, the officers continued to detain him and insisted on checking his identification.
Well, you're being one to me.
No, sir, I'm doing my job.
Am I detained?
Yeah, you are. What's your name and date of birth?
It does not matter.
Yes, sir, it does.
Do you have a crime?
Would you like me
Call
to
your
put you in?
supervisor,
He's right
please.
here.
All right.
Don't, you know.
Sir, what you stop for? For a walking stick.
So-
And it could look like a weapon. She asked you to really present it, okay? Now she's asking me for ID. Okay. I don't need the ID unless there's reasonable articulated suspicion that I have committed a crime and committing a crime or about to do a crime. Sir, and her suspicion was that you were armed, okay? And she's asking you for your ID. Well, now she has verified that I am not armed. Okay. So there is no problem. You have your ID or not? I do have my ID, but you don't need it. Okay. Okay. Sir, you do that.
7 Whiskey Mike 15. Where's wallet in?
Where's your wallet at, sir? I don't have a wallet on me.
Okay, where's your ID?
Where's your ID at? Pocket. Which pocket? You are not allowed to search me.
It's in this pocket.
There you go.
Thank you.
The incident constitutes a clear violation of Hodges' Fourth Amendment rights, which protect against unreasonable searches, seizures, and false imprisonment. Florida statutes define false imprisonment as forcibly confining, abducting, imprisoning, or restraining another person without lawful authority and against their will. In this case, the officers wrongly arrested and detained Hodges, despite identifying the object in his back pocket as a walking stick.
It's gonna be. I want your name and your badge number. You know, I'll put you in jail for resisting.
Okay. All right, let's go.
I want your name and badge number too, sir.
Have a seat.
You want to pick my property up, please?
I sure will, after you have a seat.
You want to pull this out of my back pocket?
Sure. Here, I'll grab your jacket for you, too.
After an investigation by the sheriff's office, it was determined that Deputy Godey and Sergeant Harrison had violated several department policies. As a result, Sergeant Harrison was immediately demoted and suspended without pay for 7 days, while Deputy Godey received a 2-day suspension. Both officers were also required to undergo remedial training on civil rights. Hodges has retained an attorney and plans to file a lawsuit against the Columbia County Sheriff's Office. He's also requesting a federal investigation into the incident. The case highlights the importance of protecting individuals' constitutional rights and holding law enforcement accountable for any violations. In this next video, in May of 2020, an incident unfolded in Columbia County, Georgia, where a man was filming a video outside the store. However, the owners of the store called the police on him, prompting officers from the Columbia County Sheriff's Office to respond. The officer in charge approached the man and requested his identification, citing a call about his videotaping activity.
Yeah, we got a call about your videotaping on their property. You haven't?
No, I'm not on their property. I never step on nobody's property.
Oh, okay.
No, sir.
No, I've just got the call.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
Do you have a driver or an ID?
Well, I don't show my ID. I don't do nothing wrong. You understand? I'm filming in public, giving people free advertisement, and they approach me. And if you could just tell them that I'm not doing anything wrong, and
but you weren't on the property.
No, sir. I'm very careful not to do that. I'll pull GIS surveys, and been doing this a long time.
What are you videoing for, if you don't mind me asking?
First Amendment, protected activity. Just
doing like
yeah. Free advertisement.
Do you live around here? Are you from here? I'm
not from around here. Most people know me. I do this. I go around and, show people right from wrong, wrong from right. And, when they say they call the police, I don't leave. Yeah.
Just checking on it.
Yeah.
But you were never on the property?
No, I'm very close. Never ever to do that. Matter of fact, far as I was right there at the edge of the curtilage, the GIS survey starts.
The man asserted that he had not committed any wrongdoing and explained that he was filming in a public area to provide free advertisement. He emphasized that he was careful not to trespass or infringe upon anyone's rights. Refusing to show his identification, he relied on his understanding of Georgia law, which states that unless someone has broken the law, they are not required to identify themselves. The officer alleged that the man had trespassed on the store's property despite video evidence proving otherwise. However, the officer persisted in requesting identification to potentially charge the man with trespassing. The man maintained his innocence and questioned the basis for his detention as he had not committed any crime.
Unless I've broken the law, you don't have to ID in the state of Georgia. Am I being detained?
Well, for the moment, yes.
For what crime?
Till we find out what's going on.
To what crime am I being committed?
We were called because you were on their property.
Right, and he determined I wasn't.
Okay.
Hang
tight just a minute, we'll get you out.
Am I being detained for an unlawful reason? Yes or no?
Right now, you're being detained because you were on their property, and we're trying to find out what's going on.
Okay, and I can prove that I wasn't on their property, and they can't prove that I was. Or, there again, issue me a trespass, I'll be on my way, and then we'll go to court, but...
A staff sergeant arrived at the scene, and the man recounted the entire incident, including his rights and the lack of any illegal activity. As the man spoke, the two deputies involved in the arrest stood by, seemingly embarrassed.
How are you? What was your name and badge number, sir?
Sure, it's Staff Sergeant Johnson, 93159.
Hey, Johnson. I was explaining to them, I'm out here exercising my rights, First Amendment right. Private property starts about 1.2 foot on the other side of that telephone pole per government document survey. Well, okay. Anyway, I did my homework. I'm down here giving some people free advertisement. They called the police to me. This deputy here legally detained me for 18 minutes and 32 seconds for no suspicion of nothing. He told me that I had to show him my identification to be trespassed. I explained to him I was on the curtilage of that road. Right there, their property starts at the front tire of that VW.
Okay.
And I'm trying to exercise my rights. Both of them gentlemen stood in a auditorium or courthouse with their hand on a Bible, and they swore an oath to protect my civil rights.
Yes, sir.
He's wanting my Fourth Amendment violated. He's wanting my First Amendment violated. And they called the police to me and lied. I got 28 minutes of video that shows me doing exactly what I'm doing right now on public property, exercising my right as an American.
And any time did you go on their property?
No, sir. Look. He knows exactly who I am.
Which one?
To the left.
Okay.
And I told him I'm gonna file a formal complaint on him and him. And y'all have never ever had a problem with Columbia County.
Right.
Ever. And once you realize who I am and what I'm doing, and it really makes y'all look bad, man. And I'm illegally detained for no crime. That's a.
As long as you haven't been on their property, that's fine. Because you're outside their property, and you're legally doing what you need
Absolutely.
to do.
Can you explain that to them so they don't violate anybody else's rights?
And they don't want you on their property.
Absolutely. And I don't go on their property.
That's why they were just saying a criminal trespass warning. So you've been warned.
I've been warned the first time that don't get an ID. The second time you do. See, he didn't know that. He didn't know that.
I'm good to go with you if you're.
Well, I'm good to go. Am I still detained? Thank you. Well, and thank you. I'll wait till y'all leave and then I'll leave.
The staff sergeant acknowledged the man's explanation and confirmed that he had not been on the store's property. The man expressed his intention to file a formal complaint against the deputy who detained him, citing violations of his Fourth Amendment rights and First Amendment rights. Eventually, the deputies conceded that there was no illegality in the man's filming activity and allowed him to leave without further detainment. This incident serves as a reminder of the importance of understanding and upholding individuals' constitutional rights, even during encounters with law enforcement.